Slugs one shell, one solid projectile. Slugs replace all pellets with a single large mass of lead. No spread, no pattern, just direct impact. They are effective from 50 to 100 yards depending on barrel type and load. Within that range, they deliver far greater accuracy than any pellet-based shell, making precise placement possible. Because of their diameter and weight, slugs produce exceptional stopping power. Law enforcement uses them for barrier penetration and vehicle disabling. Hunters use them for large game at close to medium range. The trade-off is heavy recoil. In lightweight shotguns, slugs hit the shooter almost as hard as they hit the target. One common myth worth addressing: slugs are not armor-piercing. Modern body armor can significantly reduce their effectiveness, especially at distance. Additionally, due to poor aerodynamics, slugs lose velocity rapidly and experience dramatic bullet drop at long range. A rifle round outperforms a slug at distance without question. What slugs offer is unique: short-range accuracy and massive close-range impact. Nothing else from a shotgun replicates that combination. Birdshot a shotgun shell packed with dozens, sometimes hundreds, of small pellets, no single projectile. When fired, those pellets fan outward, creating a widespread pattern that increases the chance of hitting small, fast-moving targets. Birdshot is numbered by pellet size, and the system works in reverse. Higher numbers mean smaller pellets. Number 9 or 8 shot contains hundreds of tiny pellets, producing a dense cloud ideal for doves, quail, and clay targets. Number 5 or 6 shot carries larger pellets, better for pheasants and ducks where more energy and penetration are needed. Effective range sits between 20 to 40 yards. Past that, the pellets lose velocity fast and become largely ineffective. But at close range, to 15 yards, the shot charge hasn't spread yet. It hits as a concentrated mass, almost like a single slug. At that distance, birdshot is devastating, potentially fatal to a human. Compared to other shells, birdshot produces lighter recoil. It's designed for surface impact, not deep penetration, which is precisely why it's used for birds, not barriers. Flechettes instead of pellets, flechette shells fire dozens of tiny steel dart-shaped projectiles. The name comes from the French word meaning little arrow. They were developed primarily for military use, extensively tested during the Vietnam War. The goal was a round capable of cutting through jungle foliage and light cover more effectively than buckshot. On paper, impressive. Some versions could even defeat light body armor under specific conditions. In practice, the problems were consistent. Once those darts leave the barrel, they become aerodynamically unstable. Flight paths are unpredictable. Accuracy becomes unreliable. And while individual darts penetrate, each one is extremely light, meaning low energy transfer on impact, resulting in poor stopping power. Targets could absorb multiple hits and remain mobile. Flechette shells never fulfilled their promise. Despite occasional claims of armor-piercing capability, they were never widely adopted. Buckshot similar concept, completely different outcome. Buckshot still fires multiple pellets, but these pellets are significantly larger. The spread is tighter than birdshot, and the energy per pellet is far greater. Buckshot comes in sizes labeled with numbers and zeros. Number 4 buck is smaller. Number 1 buck is larger. Then come the zeros: single zero, double zero, triple zero. More zeros mean larger pellets. Double zero, known as 00 buck, is the most widely used. 9 large pellets per shell, each roughly the diameter of a 9mm bullet. Effective range extends to around 50 yards depending on the load. The larger pellets retain energy far better than birdshot, giving buckshot a strong balance of spread and stopping power. Recoil is heavier than birdshot due to the increased payload. Buckshot is used across 3 main areas: medium-sized game hunting, law enforcement operations, and home defense. It sits precisely between birdshot and slugs. More power than birdshot, more spread than a slug. Less lethal shells designed to stop a person without killing them, though serious injury and death remain possible. These rounds do not penetrate the body. Instead, they rely on blunt force trauma, pain compliance, and muscle disruption to incapacitate a target. They travel at significantly lower velocities than standard shells. To prevent deadly mix-ups, less lethal rounds are typically manufactured in bright colors, blue, green, or orange, making them visually distinct from live ammunition. Common types include beanbag rounds, rubber slugs, and foam baton projectiles. Most are 12 gauge and can be chambered in standard shotguns, but many law enforcement departments use dedicated, separately marked shotguns specifically for less lethal loads to eliminate any risk of a fatal error. Their accuracy degrades at longer distances, and impacts to the head, neck, chest, or spine can still be lethal. These shells are governed by strict use of force protocols for exactly that reason. Cut shells and wax slugs, these are improvised modifications, not factory manufactured ammunition. A cut shell is a standard birdshot or buckshot shell with the hull partially cut near the front. When fired, the entire front section detaches and travels downrange as one unified mass, functioning like a crude improvised slug. This technique emerged widely during the Great Depression, when conventional ammunition was scarce and expensive. The results were functional but unstable. Cut shells lack the consistency of real slugs and present serious risk to the shooter. The separated hull section can fail to eject or lodge inside the barrel, causing potentially dangerous malfunctions. The wax slug operates on a similar concept. Melted wax is poured over loose pellets to bind them into a single improvised projectile. Same goal, same instability, same safety risks. Neither cut shells nor wax slugs were ever adopted by military or law enforcement. Today, they exist as historical improvisations, a record of scarcity-driven ingenuity with serious modern risks. Dragon's Breath, the name sounds like a weapon from a military operation. The reality is far less tactical. Dragon's Breath shells do not fire pellets or solid projectiles. They launch burning magnesium particles, a stream of superheated sparks that project 20 to 30 yards downrange. At night, the visual effect is extraordinary. A massive fireball erupting from the barrel, burning sparks arcing through the dark. But visuals and effectiveness are entirely separate things. Those sparks carry almost no penetrating capability. Stopping power is essentially non-existent. Accuracy is irrelevant. These aren't aimed projectiles. Dragon's Breath is not used in combat, self-defense, or law enforcement operations. What it does extremely well is start fires. The burning magnesium ignites dry grass, wood, and flammable materials instantly. These shells are also documented to damage shotgun barrels due to intense heat and heavy residue buildup. Because of the fire hazard, Dragon's Breath shells are illegal or restricted across many regions. Their existence is driven almost entirely by viral video content, not any legitimate application. Flight control shells, developed by Federal Premium. Flight control shells don't hit harder, they hit smarter. Standard buckshot begins spreading the moment it clears the barrel. Flight control shells use a specialized rear-deploying wad that stays with the pellet column longer, keeping the shot tightly grouped for a greater distance before dispersal begins. The result is a significantly tighter, more consistent pattern, even from short-barreled or standard shotguns. Tighter patterns extend buckshot's effective range and reduce stray pellets that miss the intended target entirely. This is why flight control loads have been widely adopted by law enforcement. Buck and Ball 1, large lead ball combined with multiple smaller buckshot pellets in a single shell. Penetration from the ball, spread from the pellets. This concept dates to the 18th and early 19th centuries. Soldiers loaded muskets with one large ball and several smaller pellets simultaneously. During the American Revolutionary War, buck and ball loads were widely used for their devastating effectiveness at short to medium ranges.